interestingly, we are expecting that the trend will continue till Friday. What actually has been driving the market, apart from the positive slew of numbers that we've gotten from some of the banks, has also been one of the more interesting things that has happened in the market from an interest rate point of view. As deposit rates have trended downwards, what we've seen is some flight to growth from investors, and we're beginning to see investors focus more on the equity end of the market. Today's numbers were very strong. Volumes have actually also improved significantly, which probably could be explained by the two-day holidays end of last week and yesterday. But bottom line is that fundamentals are beginning to creep back into the market. The technical boost that we saw from the beginning of February seems to have gotten more gas from a fundamental point of view. And I think that's what would continue to drive the market going forward. I think the market would also be placing some level of reliance on the sort of numbers that we see from the other banks that are due to have reported by last week. The market will be looking out for those numbers to give some indication of where the underlying direction for the market is.
Yeah, it's so good to hear you being so positive about the Nigerian Stock Exchange. But one of the aspects,
Yes.
one of the aspects is that the banking sector, the results are expected out, and there have been some delays from various banks in terms of reporting their results. Firstly, why is there a delay in terms of banks reporting their results?
Finley, there might be two possible explanations for that. First issue is that, look, the auditors for these banks are usually the same big four firms, and which was one of my concerns when the central bank was coming up with a common year-end policy to say, look, can you trust the auditors to be able to get 24 good teams out to the banks and be able to report numbers within a 3-month period? I thought that was impossible, and I think I'm being proven right here. That's one issue. Then also, the Nigerian banking space has a tradition or policy whereby the central bank has to approve numbers before they are released to the market. There are strong indications that the central bank hasn't approved all the numbers that have been sent to the central bank. So that's clear explanation for the fact that the banks are unlikely to meet the March 31st reporting deadline. And the few ones that have met it, have barely met it, So the key issue for me is I still question the rationality behind the common year end. I thought that more detailed quarterly results would have solved exactly the same problem the central bank was looking out to solve. And we're beginning to see the implications of that, because I'm convinced that the auditors are struggling to get out those numbers.
Yeah. Well, like you mentioned just now, that it's because one of the reasons is that the CBN has not approved of the numbers. And isn't it one of the reasons that they haven't approved because in the past, banks have not reported proper results? Well,
not true. I think the regulators are proving to be more thorough in the way they look at the bank's numbers. Don't forget that there's been some form of forensic audits of their 9-month numbers in September. My suspicion is that the central bank just wants to ensure that the sort of numbers that we get are as reliable as the September numbers. And if you listen to the central bank governor over the weekend, there are indications that a lot of these banks have turned the corner as well. From a profitability point of view. So it's actually interesting times for the market, but I think that people will still want to see the sort of numbers that come out from the 10 banks that were the problem banks of 2009.
Yeah. Well, this delay in reporting the results right now within the banking sector, what is it making the banking sector look like currently?
Well, interestingly, Fenly, I think that the market itself, the entire market, wasn't expecting that the banks will meet the 31st of March deadline. And what we've seen is that a lot of analysts have priced in whatever corrections that we could get in the banking space. I think the only reaction you would get from investors in the banking space are reaction to positive numbers. If some of the banks who have recorded very bad 9-month figures in September come out with worse numbers, I don't think the market will react violently to it. But the market is basically looking for positive news and reacting to it, and to a large extent ignoring negative news coming out from the sector. And I think that's what will continue to happen. I suspect that we would get most of the numbers in the first 2-3 weeks of April. and the market would be able to price those equities accordingly.
Yeah. Well, Femi, just before we go, GT Bank has come out with results. Their profits are down 22%. What do you make of its results? It's actually not a surprise, though.
Well, not exactly shocking. Maybe the worrying part of it is that revenues grew about 66% thereabout, and profits still fell, which means that apart from having tighter margins, GTB has also had to write off significant portion of its loan portfolio. But the key issue for us, and what people should be looking at, is that what is the growth trajectory for these businesses. I believe that the worst is over for the banking sector, and the likes of GTB, Zenith, and UBA, and to a large extent First Bank, would give us a clear direction of where we expect the market to go going forward. So for me, it's positive for the banking sector. I think that the next 12 months would be very interesting, especially as the market starts to digest the sort of numbers that are coming out from the banking space. And the Nigerian equity market might see another 10–15% upside from current levels.